On March 7th, a group of 16 students traveled to Shizhou for 28 days. We call ourselves Kryptonite. We were going to Shizhou for this thing named Microcampus to experience a new way of learning. During this time, we did an inquiry project. My inquiry project was small business case study. I chose this topic because I always thought it would be interesting to learn about how a business runs and because I thought it would be cool to own my own business in the future, and I wanted to learn exactly how to do that. When I got here, there were so many businesses to choose from. I decided to study Miss Ma's Rose Petal Jam Shop. Miss Ma was really kind with sharing information with me, but Miss Ma's shop was being renovated, so she decided to go on a trip to Kunming for a week. I had a lot of information from her, and I did not want to start over with another business, so instead I decided to study Rose Petal Jam businesses. I ended up interviewing 3 other business owners, Miss Wang and Mr. Young, who own Adasha, and Mr. Young, who sells Rose Petal Jam for his mother-in-law. From the information I learned through these interviews, I would decide what I would do for my own business. In order to start a Rose Petal Jam business, one must consider how to prepare before opening up shop, what to do while owning the store, and the future of the business. Before opening up my business, I would need to figure out a name for my shop. I'd probably call my shop something like Majestic Rose. I would also need to figure out what process I would use to make my Rose Petal Jam. There are many processes. From what I learned with all of the business owners, I would probably choose the same process that Adasha uses to make their jam. When I asked Mr. Young about putting rice wine in the jam, he said that it will make it sour, and the purpose of Rose Petal Jam is to be sweet. I do not believe this is true, for I tried all the Rose Petal Jam from each shop, and the rice wine does not affect the flavor. The rice wine acts as a preservative additional to the honey, and they use the right proportion to make sure it does not affect the flavor. The ingredients I would use to make brown sugar Rose Petal Jam would be brown sugar, rice wine, and rose petals. The ingredients needed to make white sugar Rose Petal Jam would be white sugar, honey, rose petals, and rice wine. Miss Ma did not know the price of her ingredients. Mr. Young guessed how much everything costs, so I have to trust the prices that the owners of Adasha told me, which is that rose petals cost 15 RMB per half a kg, white sugar costs 2.5 or 2.6 RMB per half a kg, black sugar costs 40 RMB per half a kg, and honey is 60 RMB per half a kg, and 52-degree rice wine is 18 RMB per half a kg. In order to make Rose Petal Jam, you also need materials. Since if I owned a Rose Petal Jam business, I would use the same process as Adasha, I would also need the same materials. The materials I would need are huge porcelain jars, which cost 600 RMB, medium jars, which are 120 RMB, plastic jars for the jam, which is 0.9 RMB. Glass jars are optional because they make it look fancier, and they cost 3 RMB. And I would need a spoon, 0.2 RMB, and a scale, which is 300 RMB. After figuring out all the production fees, I would need to find a location for my store, then find out the rent of the store and whether there is competition in that area, and if I would be able to compete with it. If my store was in Shizhou, I would want it in the location that Miss Ma's store is, because her store is right next to a place where a lot of tourists are, and the rent is going to be 1,500 RMB after they renovate the store, which I do not think is bad, because it'll look a lot newer after the renovation. Like I said before, I need to think about the competition in that area. In Shizhou, they sell Rose Petal Jam everywhere. Many things have Rose Petal Jam in it. For example, Shizhou Baba. It would be hard to find a place in Shizhou where there is not much competition. In all my interviews, when I asked them about competition, they were really positive about it. The owners of Adasha said it made them work harder to make a better quality Rose Petal Jam. Miss Ma said she does not mind the competition because she still gets her own profit. Mr. Young believes that without other people selling it, no one would buy Rose Petal Jam because people would think it's such a strange product. I would also need to think about the price of plastic bags I would give out to customers and the price of the sticker I would put on each jar. While I own my business, I would need to think about how to deal with competition. From what the business owners I interviewed said, I probably would not care about the competition. As I make more money from my business, I could start raising the prices of my jam. And after owning my shop for a little while, I might need to adjust the opening hours. For example, if I had my shop open from 5 a.m. to 10 p.m., and I found that I only get about one customer at 5 a.m. every few days, I would need to adjust to opening at 6 a.m. instead. If I owned a store, my work hours would probably be 6:30 to 9:30. To attract more customers, I would need to advertise my store. To advertise my store, I would use Instagram, Taobao, and my own website, and have business cards. Others uses Taobao and business cards to advertise, and Miss Mara uses WeChat and business cards. Later, I would need to adjust the amount of each kind of jam I make. From the information I learned from all my interviews, I would make more brown sugar jam than white sugar. After owning my shop for a couple of months, I would be able to find out my average profit. Of course, the profit could go up and down, but no matter how much it is, I need to make sure it covers all the costs of making rose petal jam. I would also eventually run out of ingredients, so I would need to buy new ingredients. I would find out how much the electric bill is and how much the transportation is. To transport my rose petals, I would want to use a truck because it can carry the most amount of rose petals at a time. Once I own my shop for a couple of years, I would start thinking about how to upgrade my business. Should I expand? It is a lot more work to expand and stay there, but is it worth it? There are disadvantages and advantages to expanding a business. The advantages to expanding a business is more profit, more customers, and more employees. The disadvantages are less customer interaction and more traveling. I would probably like a bigger business because it is less work hours because you can hire more people to help you. Being just the boss is easier than being the boss and the employee. I would also need to think of new locations for my rose petal jam shop. It would have to be somewhere else in China, not in other countries, because the best roses for this type of rose petal jam grow in China. I would want to expand to places like Shanghai because in Shanghai they sell rose petal jam for 200 RMB, and here in Xizhou it costs only 35 RMB, so I could make more profit in Shanghai. But I would still want to shop in Xizhou because it is more fun to work here in the village. I am glad I got to go on this adventure and got to learn outside the bubble. I learned many life lessons here and had a really fun time. I learned many things from these business owners about owning a business, and I'm really thankful for that. They shared with me information about the economics of their business and what ingredients go into their rose petal jam. I learned about how to run a business, which now if I wanted to open a business, I could. Obviously, I've not learned enough information to successfully own a business, but in the time I had, I think I've learned a lot. From this experience, I have learned how to prepare before opening a rose petal jam business, what to do while owning the business, and how to approach the future of the business. Microcampus has given me this opportunity to learn this way, and I'm really thankful.